Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And yes, today I am very excited to bring to you from the Transformers Cyberverse line. This is Soundwave from the Warrior class scale. And I was very lucky to be able to get this figure off of eBay. Soundwave is one of those classic characters, I would say almost as beloved, even not more so than, say, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Megatron, or Starscream. So it's nice to have him in the new line. Starting off in robot mode, looks close to the original classic Soundwave design. This does turn into a four-wheeled vehicle, so obviously some changes have been made. Now, last time when I reviewed Slipstream, there was some concerns that I forgot to mention certain points of articulation. As many of you know, I really don't like to focus on articulation just because I think a lot of great figures are often dismissed because they're not, super articulated, yoga figures. What I can tell you with Soundwave is this figure has all the functional articulation you would want. Ball joints in the shoulders, swivels, bend at the elbows, ball jointed hips, bend at the knees. The only thing that doesn't move is the waist and the head, and a lot of that has to do with the transformation. Now, I'm going to move the arms down out of the way, and you should notice that the figure is kind of floppy in the hips, and a lot of that is due to I just have really bad waists, bad hip joints. But also one thing I want to notice is you kind of have to do that overextended knee pose with the pelvis forward to get the figure to stand properly. And it really does look like it's molded to do that. But anyway, I moved the arms down because we're going to activate the action figure, which is basically called the Laser Beak Blast, Laser Beak Attack. And I want to draw your attention to the shoulder cannon. As you probably can tell, it is a little off-center. And that's due to the fact that it's on a rotating platform here that, turning it back slightly, right there where my finger is a blue tab, and unfortunately blends in blue on blue, that as you rotate the platform around, it will slip into that housing right where my left finger is. And if we continue to rotate that along till the cannon is straight, that will cause Laserbeak to pop out. Basically, the chest comes down, and we have a very nice detailed Laserbeak. Unfortunately, a lot of the details are lost because it's a clear neon pink. There is a little bit of like a neon orange there for the eye. The beak is silver. You do have the guns molded in and stuff like that, and really does look like a nice Laserbeak. To reset, bring back the shoulder cannon slightly just to get it out of the way of the trigger. You can readjust it just a little. Basically, once you feel it locking up, that's when you should stop rotating the cannon, or else you'll engage the spring-loaded gimmick. Just to show you again, from a top-down view, what I'm talking about, keep an eye right here, and you'll see the tab will just slide in and activate launching of Laserbeak. It's surprising, but I really don't remember too many, if any, Soundwave figures have had some sort of gimmick that involved, deploying the figures like that, fully transformed. Sort of like what we used to see in the old G1 cartoon. So, we'll pause now, and then when we come back, we'll get into the transformation. Okay, start off the transformation. You want to make sure to have the figure in a neutral pose, such as I have. The first step is going to be dealing with this shoulder cannon, you're going to rotate it, if you're looking straight down, clockwise around till it's covering the head. And then you'll finish off by closing that side dish panel. Next, what you want to do is come down to the legs here, peg them together, just as I just did. And then you're going to detach them from this floating hip bar. And the instructions aren't that clear what you want to do. So you want to pull them down, straighten the legs out, and then you're going to turn the figure around. And then there's a tab here that's going to swing up and slot into that hole right there. So basically you'll end up with the figure looking like this. Next step is you're going to fold the legs up at the knee, and this protruding tab is going to fit through that hole in the, crotch pelvis area. And then you're just going to make sure it swings upward. And you're going to want it to peg. There are 2 tabs on the base of that did I just break some? Oh. I'm sorry, I just almost noticed that it looks like some of those tabs are warping, but basically you're going to bring them down and make sure it's flush with the body. And having a bit of an issue here because it seems to want to pop forward a little. I wonder, I'm checking the hips here, making sure they're straight and everything, but that is something that, because there is this, there is that ball joint at the hip, you can have the legs pegged together and then have it not situate properly. But all right, I guess that's fine. But you'll fold it up like this, and or it should be a little. There shouldn't be that big of a gap there. All right, well, you know what? I'll fiddle with it, but as we continue, bring the arms down straight, turn the figure over again, and then you're going to rotate these side panels in, just like so. And what's going to happen is on the forearms, there are tabs. They're going to peg into holes that are, if you have the arms lined up properly, you just press down and they will peg in. And there you have Soundwave in its robot mode, and in its vehicle mode, and something is not lining up right. And I don't know what that is, but this is about as good as it's going to get. And as you see, it's a little truck type of device. And okay, there we go. Got it all closed up. It really was the first time I was having issues with it closing up properly, and I transformed it a few times, but it does roll. I will say that unfortunately the fist here do pose a little bit of a clearance issue, and depending on your surface, it may rub and scratch. The wheels are pegged on, so that also does affect the rolling to some extent. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's basically not a lot of detail in terms of paint in the vehicle mode. You do have black for the windshield. This is some sort of armored truck type of deal. You cannot deploy the gimmick in this mode because doing so would expose Soundwave's head, but I kind of dig it. I think it's a fun figure, and yeah, it's really about it for vehicle mode. So we'll pause, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So, Soundwave is a good figure. I actually think it's a real solid warrior class offering, and I'm going to say it kind of strikes me as being a little bit better than the previous two waves of warrior class figures. I mean, if you're going to have a scale where Shockwave is at the top, I would actually put Soundwave at a close second. I don't know what the other warrior class figures from this wave are going to be like, but you know, Shockwave's articulated. The gimmick really isn't that intrusive. It's not like he has a gun arm or axe hand or something. So I think, you know, it's just really good figure, and it's a fun transformation. As you saw during the transformation, I did notice that the tabs here that are on the back of the figure that would connect to the parts of the leg that form the front of the car, there is a chance for warping. So just be careful of that. But definitely, if you see this at retail and are a fan of Soundwave, pick it up. This is your old pal Chuck for Soundwave. We will see you next time.